it's Anna. Today I am so excited. I love talking about characters. Y'all know how much I love characters. Today I'm gonna be talking about characters. I've said that so many times, why don't I just shut up? Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about and kind of teaching you guys, going through a guide sort of thing on how to brainstorm your characters. I have a lot of different videos about like how to develop your characters, how to design your characters and stuff like that, but I've never really talked about how to really brainstorm and actually come up with a character from scratch. So today I'm really excited to be going through a template that I have for you guys down below. So if you guys actually want to use this template, definitely do. However, today I am partnering with Scrintle, which is an amazing brainstorming app that uses this method. I don't know how to pronounce that method, but it's basically like a mind mapping method that really helps brainstorming. And Scrintle is one of the best tools that I've come across that allows me to brainstorm my book and also keep track of my life and plan my days. So I actually use Scrintle for my daily planning now, right next to my book planning, which I honestly love so much. Like the fact that my books can be like right next to my like daily life is just so cool. Scrintle is the first visual web app that actually combines mind mapping with the power of networked note-taking, and it makes it so easy for people like me who are students and also professionals or novelists like us as well to visually map out our complex projects and build and plan and study and research for our books. One thing I love about Scrintle is that it has a database to actually link your boards together, so it allows you to keep everything so organized and also for boards to never get lost basically. I'm so excited to use Scrintle for basically everything, like studying my law degree, to brainstorming our book characters like in today's video, and of course just to simply plan out my day. And so I really encourage you guys to definitely check out Scrintle, because of course I'm going to be using Scrintle to actually brainstorm my book character today with you guys. And the template is on Scrintle, so if you guys go ahead and click the link in the description and go ahead and check out Scrintle. So I really encourage you guys to please go ahead and download Scrintle right now and use my code ANNA50 to get 50% off your order. I just love Scrintle so much, and of course I'm going to be showing how great they are in today's video. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk through the brainstorming process of creating your new characters. Let's go. So as you guys see, I have my beautiful Scrintle page. Y'all don't know how aesthetic this is. So I'll have a little template that looks exactly like this down below for you guys to download and use in your own Scrintle program. And it just looks so aesthetic, and I'm going to be going through it, telling you guys all the things that you can really think about to brainstorm, and especially the second thing I'm going to be talking about in this video, which is down here, that talks about the backstory, present story, and future story. That is the most important thing. But before we get onto that, we're going to brainstorm a little bit about the character. My main tip is to actually develop your character in Artbreeder. I have so many Artbreeder tutorials, definitely go check them out. I have it linked in the iCard up there, but as you can see, my beautiful Alex, oh, I love him so much. And something also good about Scrintle, by the way, this is kind of also like a tool slash how to use Scrintle. You can open these boards, so it's kind of like a really cool little page on itself. So I have his profile right here, and maybe if I want to go ahead and look at his bio, I can click on here, bio, and voila, look, we have two different boards straight side by side, so I can work on both simultaneously. It's so good, and I feel like this is so helpful for writers because our brains are constantly like bing. It's so funny. But if you guys don't have an idea of what the character looks like, that's totally fine, because we can move on to the bio. So the bio, this is all about the main things that make up your character as like a sort of avatar. Think of Sims, like you gotta figure out the age, the sex, the sexuality, the profession, like all those different things. We're basically creating a Sims character. So Alex, he's 24, he's a male, he's straight, he's a music conductor, and he's a bloom in English. Something I like to include in the bio is actually hair, clothes, and eye color, which is just a really quick indicator of how your character looks. So he has brown black hair, always wearing a tuxedo, and has grey eyes. By the way, Alex is set in a story where it takes place in the 1800s. That's why he always wears a tux or like a suit or something. So there we go. Kind of reminds me of a penguin, honestly. Oh my gosh, y'all. If Alex was a literal animal, he would be a penguin. Oh, that's so cute. Anyways, back to the video. Okay, so once we have the bio done, we have personality. This is my favorite part because it's basically who your character is. When I brainstorm the personality of my character, I really like to be very free with it and to think about really big themes of how the character is as a person. So as you can see here, it's very like abstract, and I like to kind of think about that and not go too into like the sort of personality types that he is. Like, I don't want to say Alex is an introvert, like obviously he's an introvert, but I like to kind of dig a bit deeper. So when you're thinking about the personality and brainstorming the personality of your character, think about the bigger themes also in your story that can be revealed through this character. So if you're kind of having trouble being like, I don't know what the heck this character is, I want him to be something cool, but I don't really know, think about what your story is about, okay? So think about that. Think about, you know, for example, person versus self. I want to kind of think about the sort of inner conflict within Alex and the idea of being two-faced, about being two different people. Like, that sort of thing really does encompass a character and really distinguishes off the bat who your character is and what they can explore in your book. That's kind of like the blurb, I guess, of the, or the main sort of personality type. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's good to think about, I feel. But if we go normal, like, I feel like I go too crazy when I talk about the type. It's basically like who your character is and the things that they struggle with, who they are as a person. So for example, Alex, he's a lonely boy. He is lonely, squashed by people, surrounded by loneliness. So it shows that he hates people, basically, but he's also lonely. So do you understand how the blurb at the front really does reflect the personality type of Alex? And also the fact that he looks rich and respectable but has a tragic past. So again, it's about the two-face. Like, he's very insecure, sad inside, but outwardly he looks so put together, so on top of things and just normal, which of course reflects the bigger ideas of who your character is. Now that we've finished with personality, which is so fun, I loved it, we're going to be going on to aesthetic. Okay, so this is really fun. I love incorporating like the art breeder, like creating your characters through AI, like that sort of thing, and also through using Pinterest. So this isn't all just about brainstorming words. It's actually all about photos and different inspirations that you can draw from your characters. So as you can see here, I have this aesthetic that looks like Alex's aesthetic, and I made a page for him on my Pinterest, which was so fun. As you can see here, this is his page. It's so beautiful. Ugh, this is my vibe. This is basically the vibe of the whole book. Oh my gosh, like y'all, I get so excited about Pinterest and just like everything so aesthetic like that. But however, aesthetic. Something you can add here also is maybe a song or a playlist, or you can even maybe add the character's favorite people or colors. Like, this is all about your character's aesthetic, maybe what they could wear. Really do think about how other sorts of arts and other pieces of media can be interpreted and actually express your character's aesthetic and who they are as a person. So I just use Pinterest in this case, but try to use other forms of media too. So that's kind of like the main three things that really you need to think about in order to brainstorm your characters. But over here, I have a little bit of a cute little caption, which basically is what I put in like brainstorm sometimes when a random quirk or random like sort of personality piece really strikes me about Alex. And this is just like kind of what I look to when I think about Alex, and I like think that he's a brunette, he's skinny, he has a pointy nose and jaw, he's white, he's slim, he has a black suit, deaf in one ear, grey eyes. Like, they're the very quick things that I think is helpful to sometimes see on your dashboard or page for your character. Alrighty guys, so next up, of course, we've kind of done the bio, the personality, the aesthetic of the character, which I think are the main things to kind of kickstart and brainstorm your character to the extent that you can understand who your character is quite generally, and also start to love your character because it's just so fun being able to see your character come together so you can just kiss them and love them. And you can tell I love characters. I'm getting too excited. However, we come to this little spot right here, which is the backstory, present story, and future story. This is important, guys. Take notes. Okay, so with this particular thing, of course, it's kind of self-explanatory. This is where you think about your character as in their life. And this might seem very like, gosh, I don't want to think too much about everything. Like, this is gonna take a long time. I don't know what my character is or who they used to be. Like, what's going on? It's okay. Relax. You don't have to figure this out right now, but I think it's honestly so fun also to think about the backstory of your character, because not only does it help you understand who your character was, but it also helps you understand who your character will be when your story starts. So obviously a character's backstory is who they are, experiences and how characters think about things, big events that have happened in their life, it's gonna inevitably shape who they are at the start of the book. So it's really important that you kind of have those things at the back of your mind, and also when you plan and brainstorm your character, in order to make them 3D and actually different in your book, because backstory equals layers. Lots and lots of layers, and we love characters with complicated layers. Anyways, okay, so when we think about backstory, let's talk about backstory first. Okay, so backstory. So this is the blurb of Alex's backstory, and I say blurb because we don't need to go into too much detail. We're just thinking about how the character grew up. What was their childhood like? So their backstory is all about, of course, their childhood. So Alex, he was brought up with a notable and wealthy family, so it's clear to see that Alex was pretty well off when he was a child, but he was pushed into the world of music before he could speak. So that kind of brings up a lot of different things that can really inspire you, and think about how Alex views music, for example, in the present day when the story starts. So he was taught every day to be the world's greatest musician, but he grew tired from the bore. Uh-oh. He was afraid he didn't know what he wanted, and that everything was decided for him prematurely. So he kind of felt like he never really had a personality as a child. Like, how kind of traumatic is that? Like, I don't know. But what's interesting is that Alex, he never really resented his parents, and of course the main thing that happened in the character's backstory was he missed them when they died in a big house fire. And there's lots of things I do need to add to this blurb, and I would add, but I don't want to, you know, actually spoil anything, because this book might be coming out soon. Lol, very, very, very far into the future, but I don't want to spoil anything, so yeah. But of course, childhood. What's one main event? Like, think at least one thing that has traumatized your character, basically. What's something that had changed their life? Something that could be good, something that can be bad. Usually try to think of something bad, because that makes them interesting and makes them lovable and relatable and sad. So yeah. However, as you guys can see here, I have a photo. I think it's honestly, again, good to incorporate different mediums of art into your brainstorming process. So here I have a photo of Alex when he was a child. I think they're man hands, but pretend they're child hands, okay? But try to pick a photo that kind of represents, you know, your character's backstory, because it helps you visualize and keep things in your mind. Because it's honestly like a memorizing thing. When I think about it, yeah, like writing a book is hard because you gotta think about stuff and actually remember stuff. So this will help you. Maybe have a photo to represent your character's backstory, and that's of course the same for present and future. But let's move on to present story. So of course, this is where the character obviously starts the book. This is who the character is right now. And as you can see, this is the blurb. So Alex is a young mysterious conductor who on the outside looks rich and respectable, but has a tragic past. He seems sociable, but lives alone. He was forced to marry a woman he didn't love. And he has obsessive tendencies. Lots of things are kind of represented as well in the personality sort of thing. So it's good to see parallels to keep things consistent, but beliefs, but she's gone. So it kind of shows like also that he didn't love this woman maybe, but he also like could talk to her. So it's kind of showing that that there's something going on there. There's something at the start of the book that happened. And of course, the story kind of starts where the wife, Alex's wife, is dead. So that's interesting. However, the sort of present story really borders on what has happened like the last couple years when your story starts. So this also kind of incorporates Lewis. I love Lewis. Lewis is the second main character who saves Alex from himself. And that's the whole book, basically. But that's, yeah, the present story. And if I go over here, oh my gosh, you're so cute. That's them. That's Alex and Lewis. Cute. I hope you're staying with me because we lastly have the future story. So when you think about future story, this is basically how the character is at the end of the book or further on. And something about me, I don't know if this is related or not, but I love to keep things uncanon. Like some things, I know it's probably bad as a like author to like not think about these things, but I don't like to decide things because I'm like, what if this would happen in the future? Like I don't want to make that canon now because like what if I want something else to happen? And I just love to keep things open, not only for other people who read my book, but also for me to imagine what could happen in the future. So of course this is kind of something good to keep in mind, but not to go full out on because I don't really want to make things canon that I want to change eventually, or at least in my mind. So yeah, the blurb of the Future story is what happens in the future of the book, and of course at the end of the book, or maybe into the future after the book is finished. But basically, Lewis is who Alex ends up confiding in, and there's a talk of a romantic revolution in which Alex ends up taking part in. So it kind of has a lot of different things, and I think what's really interesting is seeing the progression from when we talked about backstory, present story, future story, of the internal struggles to external struggles, and how external things has helped Alex as a character, or any sort of character, solve their internal conflict. So I think that's really, really cool, because actually for Lewis, it's kind of like a foil thing, and also something to keep in mind as another last tip before we finish up this video, to actually make other characters and keep in mind of your other characters who can foil your character you're working on. So in this case, Lewis actually foils Alex. Yeah, Lewis really reveals a lot about Alex and vice versa, and I think it's just so beautiful. But yeah, anyways, that is of course how I brainstormed my book. Again, this template will be down below for you guys to download and use in your Scribble. I'm just so excited to see what you guys come up with. Something I really want to quickly show you also before you guys go is at the start of the video how I talked about the database, which is really, really cool, because with Scribble you can actually kind of link different sort of things together. So if I want to go ahead and maybe look at Lewis, I can type in right here and say Lewis, and look, I can tap on here and here's Lewis. Here's a character profile of Lewis. So again, there's so many different features in Scribble, whether that be you literally import photos, you can connect and mind map, as you guys can see here, you can move everything around, and Scribble is just so versatile. Again, I planned my day using Scribble, and I was also being able to like plan my characters, which is so, so cool how versatile you can use this program. And I just love Scribble so much, so please go check them out. So again, make sure you guys use my code Anna50 for 50% off, that's in all caps, and use my beautiful made template for you, because I made it especially for you. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. Definitely subscribe if you guys haven't already. Like, girl, what are you doing? Please subscribe. I love talking about characters, so sorry if I was a bit rambly today or just too excited. Like, girl, I love characters so much. Anyways, I wish you luck with your characters. Say hi to them for me. And yeah, I'll have other links down below if you guys need anything or any other videos that will be helpful. So yeah, I love you guys, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!